Scripture portions of the day. Day 361.
Mark 11. 1 And when he approached Jerusalem on the side of Bethpage and Bethania to Turad Zayde, he sent 2 of his disciples. 2 And he said to them, Go to that village opposite us, and immediately entering you will find a colt that is tied which no one of the children of men has ridden. Loose him and bring him. 3 And if a man says to you, Why are you doing this? Say to him, He is needed by our Lord. And at once he will send him here. 4 And they went and found a colt that was tied on the gate outside in the street, and as they untied him, 5 Some among those who were standing there said to them, What are you doing, that you are untying the colt? 6 But they said to them according to what Yeshua had commanded them, and they allowed them. 7 And they brought the colt to Yeshua and they threw their garments on it, and Yeshua rode upon him. 8 But many were spreading their coats in the road and others were cutting branches from trees and spreading them in the road. 9 And those who were before him and those who were behind were cheering and they were saying, Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord Jehovah. 10 Blessed is the kingdom that comes of our father David. Hosanna in the highest. 11 And Yeshua entered Jerusalem and into the temple, and he saw everything, but when it was evening he went out to Bethany with the 12. 12 And on the next day, when he went out from Bethany he was hungry. 13 And he saw a fig tree from a distance that had leaves on it, and he came to it that perhaps he might find something on it, and when he came, he found nothing on it but leaves, for it was not the season of figs. 14 And he said to it, From now and forever no man will eat fruit from you. And his disciples heard it and they came to Jerusalem. 15 And Yeshua entered the temple of Elo-heem and he began to cast out those who bought and sold in the temple, and he overturned the tables of the money exchangers and the seats of those who were selling doves. 16 And he allowed no one to carry merchandise inside the temple. 17 And he taught, and he said to them, Is it not written, My house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations? But you have made it a den of robbers. 18 And the chief priests and the scribes heard, and they were seeking how they might destroy him, for they were afraid of him, because all the people were awestruck at his teaching. 19 And when it was evening, they went outside the city. 20 And in the morning when they were passing by, they saw the fig tree after it had dried up from its roots. 21 And Shimeon remembered, and he said to him, Rabbi, look, that fig tree that you cursed has dried up. 22 Yeshua answered, and he said to them, May the faith of Elohim be in you. 23:4 Amen, I say to you, whoever shall say to this mountain, Be lifted up and fall into the sea, and will not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that thing which he says, anything that he says, shall be done for him. 24 Therefore I say to you, that everything that you pray and ask, believe that you are receiving it and you shall have it. 25 And whenever you stand to pray, forgive whatever you have against anyone, so that your Father who is in heaven may also forgive you your faults. 26 But, if you are not forgiving, neither will your Father in heaven forgive you your faults. 27 And they came again to Jerusalem, and when he was walking in the temple, the chief priests and the scribes came to him, and the elders. 28 And they were saying to him, By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority to do these things? 29 But Yeshua said to them, I will ask you also one matter, that you should tell me, and I will tell you by what authority I do these things. 30 From where was the baptism of Yohanan, from heaven, or from the sons of men? Tell me. 31 And they reasoned in themselves and they said, If we say to him from heaven, he will say to us, And why did you not believe him? 32 And, that we should say, From the sons of men, there is the fear of the people, for they all are holding, that Yohanan was truly a prophet. 33 And they answered, and they were saying to Yeshua, We do not know. And he said to them, Neither am I telling you by what authority I do these things.
Deuteronomy 33. 1 And this is the blessing with which Moses the man of Elohim blessed the children of Israel before his death. 2 And he said, Jehovah is come from Sinai, and has appeared from Seir to us, and has hasted out of the mount of Pharan, with the 10,000s of Cades, on his right hand were his angels with him. 3 And he spared his people, and all his sanctified ones are under thy hands, and they are under thee, and he received of his words. 4 The law which Moses charged us, an inheritance to the assemblies of Jacob. 5 And he shall be prince with the beloved one, when the princes of the people are gathered together with the tribes of Israel. 6 Let Reuben live, and not die, and let him be many in number. 7 And this is the blessing of Judah, hear, Jehovah, the voice of Judah, and do thou visit his people, his hand shall contend for him, and thou shalt be a help from his enemies. 8 And to Levi he said, Give to Levi his manifestations, and his truth to the holy man, whom they tempted in the temptation, they reviled him at the water of strife. 9. Who says to his father and mother, I have not seen thee, and he knew not his brethren, and he refused to know his sons, he kept thine oracles, and observed thy covenant. 10. They shall declare thine ordinances to Jacob, and thy law to Israel. They shall place incense in the time of thy wrath continually upon thine altar. 11. Bless Jehovah his strength, and accept the works of his hands. Break the loins of his enemies that have risen up against him, and let not them that hate him rise up. 12. And to Benjamin he said, The beloved of Jehovah shall dwell in confidence, and Elohim overshadows him always, and he rested between his shoulders. 13. And to Joseph he said, His land is of the blessing of Jehovah, of the seasons of sky and dew, and of the deeps of wells below. 14. And of the fruits of the changes of the sun in season, and of the produce of the months. 15. From the top of the ancient mountains, and from the top of the everlasting hills. 16. And of the fullness of the land in season, and let the things pleasing to him that dwelt in the bush come on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of him, who was glorified above his brethren. 17. His beauty is as the firstling of his bull, his horns are the horns of a unicorn, with them he shall thrust the nations at once, even from the end of the earth. These are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and these are the thousands of Manasseh. 18. And to Zabulon he said, Rejoice, Zabulon, in thy going out, and Issachar in his tents. 19. They shall utterly destroy the nations, and ye shall call men there, and there offer the sacrifice of righteousness. For the wealth of the sea shall suckle thee, and so shall the marts of them that dwell by the seacoast. 20. And to Gad he said, Blessed be he that enlarges Gad. As a lion he rested, having broken the arm, and the ruler. 21. And he saw his firstfruits, that there the land of the princes gathered with the chiefs of the people was divided. Jehovah wrought righteousness, and his judgment with Israel. 22. And to Dan he said, Dan is a lion's whelp, and shall leap out of Bazan. 23. And to Naphtali he said, Naphtali has the fullness of good things, and let him be filled with blessing from Jehovah. He shall inherit the west and the south. 24. And to Azer he said, Azer is blessed with children, and he shall be acceptable to his brethren. He shall dip his foot in oil. 25. His sandals shall be iron and brass, as thy days, so shall be thy strength. 26. There is not any such as Elo-heem of the beloved, he who rides upon the heaven is thy helper, and the magnificent one of the firmament. 27. And the rule of Elo-heem shall protect thee, and that under the strength of the everlasting arms, and he shall cast forth the enemy from before thy face, saying, Perish. 28. And Israel shall dwell in confidence alone on the land of Jacob, with corn and wine, and the sky shall be misty with dew upon thee. 29. Blessed art thou, O Israel, who is like to thee, O people saved by Jehovah. Thy helper shall hold his shield over thee, and his sword is thy boast, and thine enemies shall speak falsely to thee, and thou shalt tread upon their neck.
Nehemiah 10. 1. And over them that sealed were Nehemias the Artisasta, son of Achaliah, and Zedekias, 2. The son of Ariah, and Azariah, and Jeremiah, 3. Thassar, Amariah, Melchiah, 4. Addis, Sabani, Malach, 5. Iram, Meremoth, Abdiah, 6. Daniel, Ganathan, Barich, 7. Mesullam, Abiah, Miaman, 8. Maziah, Belgai, Samaiah. These were priests. 9. And the Levites, Yeshua the son of Azaniah, Baneu of the sons of Enadad, Kadmiel 10. And his brethren, Sabaniah, Aduiah, Calaton, Pheliah, Anan, 11. Mitcha, Rub, Asebias, 12. Zachar, Sarabia, Sabaniah, 13. Adam, the sons of Banui. 14. The heads of the people, Phoros, Photh-mob, Elam, Zethuiah, 15. The sons of Bani, Asgad, Bebai, 16. Adaniah, Bagoi, Hedin 17. Ader, Ezekiah, Azur, 18. Aduiah, Esam, Bc, 19. Ariph, Anathoth, Nabai, 20. Megaphes, Mesullam, Ezer, 21. Mizazabel, Sadak, Jejua, 22. Phalsha, Anan, Aniah, 23. Osi, Ananiah, Asub, 24. Alos, Phalai, Sabek, 25. Reum, Esabana, Maja, 26. Andiah, Enan, Enam, 27. Malach, Aram, Bana, 28. And the rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nethinim, and every one who drew off from the nations of the land to the law of Elohim, their wives, their sons, their daughters, every one who had knowledge and understanding. 29. Were urgent with their brethren, and bound them under a curse, and entered into a curse, and into an oath, to walk in the law of Elohim, which was given by the hand of Moses, the servant of Elohim, to keep and to do all the commandments of Yehovah, and his judgments, and his ordinances. 30. And that we will not, they said, give our daughters to the people of the land, nor will we take their daughters to our sons. 31. And as for the people of the land who bring wares and all manner of merchandise, to sell on the Sabbath day, we will not buy of them on the Sabbath, or on the holy day, and we will leave the 7th year, and the exaction of every debt. 32. And we will impose ordinances upon ourselves, to levy on ourselves the 3rd part of a didrachm yearly for the service of the house of our Elohim. 33. The shewbread, and the continual meat offering, and for the continual whole burnt offering, of the Sabbaths, of the new moon, for the feast, and for the holy things, and the sin offerings, to make atonement for Israel, and for the works of the house of our Elohim. 34. And we cast lots for the office of wood bearing, we the priests, and the Levites, and the people, to bring wood into the house of our Elohim, according to the house of our families, at certain set times, year by year, to burn on the altar of Jehovah our Elohim, as it is written in the law. 35. And to bring the first fruits of our land, and the first fruits of the fruit of every tree, year by year, into the house of Jehovah. 36. The firstborn of our sons, and of our cattle, as it is written in the law, and the firstborn of our herds, and of our flocks, to bring to the house of our Elohim, for the priests that minister in the house of our Elohim. 37. And the first fruits of our corn, and the fruit of every tree, of wine, and of oil, will we bring to the priests to the treasury of the house of Elohim, and a tithe of our land to the Levites, for the Levites themselves shall receive tithes in all the cities of the land we cultivate. 38. And the priest the son of Aaron shall be with the Levites in the tithe of the Levite, and the Levites shall bring up the 10th part of their tithe to the house of our Elohim, into the treasuries of the house of Elohim. 39. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring into the treasuries the first fruits of the corn, and wine, and oil. And there are the holy vessels, and the priests, and the ministers, and the porters, and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of our Elohim.
Proverbs 30. 1. These things says the man to them that trust in Elohim, and I cease. 2. For I am the most simple of all men, and there is not in me the wisdom of men. 3. Elohim has taught me wisdom, and I know the knowledge of the holy. 4. Who has gone up to heaven and come down? Who has gathered the winds in his bosom? Who has wrapped up the waters in a garment? Who has dominion of all the ends of the earth? What is his name? Or what is the name of his children? 5. For all the words of Elohim are tried in the fire, and he defends those that reverence him. 6. Add not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be made a liar. 7. 2 things I ask of thee, take not favor from me before I die. 8. Remove far from me vanity and falsehood, and give me not wealth or poverty, but appoint me what is needful and sufficient. 9. Lest I be filled and become false, and say, Who sees me? Or be poor and steal, and swear vainly by the name of Elohim. 10. Deliver not a servant into the hands of his master, lest he curse thee, and thou be utterly destroyed. 11. A wicked generation curse their father, and do not bless their mother. 12. A wicked generation judge themselves to be just, but do not cleanse their way. 13. A wicked generation have lofty eyes, and exalt themselves with their eyelids. 14. A wicked generation have swords for teeth and jaw teeth as knives, so as to destroy and devour the lowly from the earth, and the poor of them from among men. 15. The horseleech had 3 dearly beloved daughters, and these 3 did not satisfy her, and the 4th was not contented so as to say, Enough. 16. The grave, and the love of a woman, and the earth not filled with water, water also and fire will not say, It is enough. 17. The eye that laughs to scorn a father, and dishonors the old age of a mother, let the ravens of the valleys pick it out, and let the young eagles devour it. 18. Moreover there are 3 things impossible for me to comprehend, and the 4th I know not. 19. The track of a flying eagle, and the ways of a serpent on a rock, and the paths of a ship passing through the sea, and the ways of a man in youth. 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman, who having washed herself from what she has done, says she has done nothing amiss. 21. By 3 things the earth is troubled, and the 4th it cannot bear. 22. If a servant reign, or a fool be filled with food. 23. Or if a maidservant should cast out her own mistress, and if a hateful woman should marry a good man. 24. And there are 4 very little things upon the earth, but these are wiser than the wise. 25. The ants which are weak, and yet prepare their food in summer. 26. The rabbits also are a feeble race, who make their houses in the rocks. 27. The locusts have no king, and yet march orderly at one command. 28. And the eft, which supports itself by its hands, and is easily taken, dwells in the fortresses of kings. 29. And there are 3 things which go well, and a 4th which passes along finely. 30. A lion's whelp, stronger than all other beasts, which turns not away, nor fears any beast. 31. And a cock walking in boldly among the hens, and the goat leading the herd, and a king publicly speaking before a nation. 32. If thou abandon thyself to mirth, and stretch forth thine hand in a quarrel, thou shalt be disgraced. 33. Milk out milk, and there shall be butter, and if thou wing one's nostrils there shall